It's Wednesday afternoon, just around sunset. I wanted to fly today, but outside the wind was too strong. Information I was getting from the buoy over the sea was indicating an average wind speed of 23 knots with gusts of 43 knots. Absolutely impossible to fly long distance and do any kind of cinematic filming, so I had to let it go and I missed a big ship because of it. However, I'm planning to go back tomorrow, Wednesday, when the weather looks to improve dramatically. It should be dry all day and the wind should be easy enough to fly based on the current model runs I'm looking at. So I couldn't fly today, so what I normally do is, to stay sharp, I like to put in a bit of practice. So I've took propellers off the Phantom and I'm now using the flight simulator through the DJI Go app. Ignore the red stripes, by the way. This is a Phantom 3 Advanced. I just changed the stickers on it just to make it a little more interesting, and I have my IAA approval sticker on there too. I'm just on the app here. You can get into the simulator through the home page. If you go back to the start, instead of going in, clicking on camera and going in as you normally would do, go up to the upper right corner, press here and tutorial, then go to simulator, and it'll automatically start for you. The flight simulator through the app. You can see the drone on there. This is one of the perspectives, and if I raise the left stick, it flies up just like the real thing, back down again. It's pretty cool. However, I prefer to change the perspective to this because it matches what I see through the tablet. Okay, it's not the best in the world, but it's pretty accurate. You can practice your techniques. I like to practice 180 degree and 360 degree wraps around this whole green square. And I train myself in making sure I'm looking at what I'm doing and checking my telemetry on the screen here, particularly my height in meters and the distance. If I do that constantly all the time, it becomes second nature. So when I'm flying for real, I'm constantly monitoring those kind of parameters, and that's very, very important. You can also adjust the wind speed and direction in the app here too to make it a bit more realistic. I do this from time to time. If I'm eager to fly and I can't fly and I need my fix, I'll do this to keep sharp. I find it is really useful. Very often when I get on location, I feel very sharp, and I feel like I know exactly what I want to do with the Phantom, so it's good training. I actually log my simulated flights along with my real flights in a logbook. Here's the wind speed and direction charts from NetWeather GFS run on the evening of Wednesday the 8th. This is for the morning, 9 AM, Thursday the 9th. Pretty strong winds coming on, show here over 20 knots, 9 o'clock in the morning, but as the day progresses, 12 o'clock, it is reduced down to 10 to 12 knots, maybe less, and by the afternoon it's turned practically slack, which is what I'm interested in. If the Pro Deliverer can hold out till then one shouldn't be an issue. I like this setup quite well, but you never know until you're on location. There's a bit of a microclimate where I fly from. Charts can look good, they can look calm, you land up there and it's too windy to fly, and vice versa, so we'll see how it goes. High tide is just around 6 o'clock in the evening, so I'm betting on the afternoon hours for some action. The good thing about tomorrow is it's completely dry in the north of the country with maximum temperatures of 10 degrees, probably more in reality actually. So I don't have to worry about battery temperature, which makes a big change from whenever I was flying on December mornings when the temperature was around 0 and I had to fly a long distance. So this is relief. So it's up to the ship now, it's up to the tide times, and hopefully the wind won't be too strong when I arrive on location. Okay, I'm back into the main app now as if I was flying for real. A lot of people ask me about what camera settings I use when I'm flying. It's nothing too exotic. Generally, I leave the camera on auto mode and let the camera decide the exposure But there are a few other things I have done just to custom it for myself. My video size is 1080p, 50 frames per second. A lot of our people would use 2.2K or Phantom 3 Professional 4K, but I find the files just too big for my computer to edit. So I get by greatly on the 1080p at 50 frames per second. The 50 frames per second means I can choose to do slow motion scenes, which is very useful. Most of the time you won't need it, but there's been times whenever I've been filming like trout jumping over a river, having that slowed down looks really cool. Or if you happen to be lucky enough to catch nighttime lightning, awesome looking in slow motion. My video format is MP4 on PAL. My white balance is on sunny, which I leave it at for most of the time, unless it's very cloudy, in which case I'll choose cloudy white balance to get that warm glow, but sunny is what I keep it at. Style is none, and the color is at vivid. I leave this on most of the time. Vivid mode's very good. It really brings up the saturation and matches the colors you see with the naked eye. Very often the other settings the camera undercooks the colors, I think. So for the most part, vivid is good. The exception to that being if you're filming snow, I found that the Phantom already enhances the blue colors and the shadows quite a bit, even normal mode. But the oversaturated vivid mode will just bring that up too much. You may need to adjust that or change it back to cloudy, or just take off vivid entirely. So that's pretty much it. In the settings here, I've all this here off. No grid up, anti-flicker, blah blah blah. The camera, I just have it at the 16:9 ratio in the same settings as video. But what I do is I let the Phantom decide on the shutter speed and the ISO when I fly out, and if I find I need to change it, which I sometimes do, if it gets very dark shooting into the sun, or I need to open the exposure a little bit more, I'll adjust it manually using the wheel. You hear me doing it here, just to keep it in a DSLR. There's one other thing I would like to show you. This is very important. You could spend all day going through this app and talking about it, but for me the most important thing, the first thing I do once I get the Phantom in the air, the first thing I do is check the status of the battery. So what I do is I'll click up here, excuse this GoPro here, upper left corner, open up the new menu, click on the arrow down here, and there I'm reading stats on the battery. This is an old battery of mine. According to this here, it's been charged 92 times. But the first thing to notice is the status of each of the individual 4 cells within the battery. You can see here they are all level. It doesn't matter if they're high or low depending on the age of the battery, as long as they are level on all 4 cells. If they're not, if they're staggered, haphazard, get rid of the battery. It's probably on its way out the door, and it may bring down your Phantom. So make sure they're all level. That's the first thing. Also the voltage in green here, 16.36. That's good. Indoors voltage is good. Sometimes you'll find in colder weather that will drop down to yellow or an orange color, lower in number, and even under red. If you get that, that's dangerous, that's bad. You do not want those low colors, so keep the colors high if you can. Make sure it's healthy, and as the same for the temperature as well. Make sure the temperature is 15 degrees Celsius or more for most of the time. For most of the year this won't be a problem, but if you're flying in cold weather, which I often do, you don't want these getting low. What happens is the Phantom will automatically land on you no matter where you're at. You can have some manual control over that and bring it back, but if you were flying out over the sea or long distance, it could be a problem. It can go into the water on you, so you want to check this every time. For me, this is like religion. This is the main thing I check. This is the health of the battery and the status of it. As for the rest of the stuff, I have my low battery warning at the standard 30% and the critical battery at 10%.